Hey, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty ridiculous one. Kind of crazy, kind of funny when I look back on it, but also not funny at all. It was kind of scary. I don't know, a lot of emotions. Anyway, this story time takes place when I was 18 years old, and it's about a Tinder date that I went on. Now, Tinder, I'm sure you all know what that is a very popular dating app that a lot of people use nowadays. I've used it a couple times, and each time, pretty much 99.9% of every time I've met with someone on that app, they have turned out to be borderline insane. But this story time is definitely like one of the most insane encounters I've ever had on that entire app in my entire life. So, anyway, let's jump into this. This story time all starts off as a normal day. I was sitting in my room watching a video on YouTube, just enjoying my day. Now, of course, I was single at this time, hence why I was on Tinder. And yeah, I just pulled out my phone and started scrolling through Tinder while I was watching YouTube because, I had some time to kill, didn't have anything to do. Figured why not scroll through Tinder? Maybe I'll match with someone cool, or maybe I'll make some cool friends, like whatever. So I'm just swiping through Tinder, and I match with a few people, and I'm having a couple different conversations. And then I match with this one girl. And she seemed pretty interesting. Like we got to talking, and she had a lot of the same interests I did, and it seemed like she was a lot cooler than the other ones I was talking to. So I kind of immediately just stopped talking to everyone else and put all my focus into this one person. And I was talking to her for like a good hour and a half, and literally that night she invited me over. Now, usually I like to talk to people for a couple days before I meet up with them because, meeting up with someone from the internet, any shape or form, can sometimes be weird. But based on our conversation, I thought, you know what, like, this girl's really cool. I think I'm going to break my rule and go meet her night one. Now, I shouldn't have broken my rule. I should have stuck to it. I should have just stayed home that night. But yeah, I fell into the trap. I told her I would go to her house that night and hang out with her. So yeah, a couple hours later, I took a shower, got ready, and I went to her house. Now, the minute I walk into this girl's house, it's completely empty. No one's there except her, obviously, and her dog. And I ask her, I'm like, do you live with anyone? Like, do you live with your parents or anything? And she's like, yeah, they're out of town for the week, though. I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, I go into her room with her, and we're just watching some Netflix, and we're just getting to know each other even more. And she asked me what I do for a living. And I tell her, I was like, oh, I do like YouTube, and I'm like a YouTuber, I guess. And she's like, a YouTuber, really? I was like, yeah. And she's like, that pays pretty well, doesn't it? And I was like, yeah, I guess. And she's like, yeah, that's pretty dope. So like, what kind of videos do you do? And I tell her a little bit about my channel and what I do. And then I ask her what she does. And she tells me that she works at some company where she takes like customer support calls and stuff. And to this day, I really wish I hadn't have told her what I did. I wish I never told her I was a YouTuber. I wish I never told her that my job paid well. Because if I wouldn't have done that, this whole story time would have never taken place. And I would have been 100% okay and just had a nice, fun night. But no, I had to tell her that I was a YouTuber. I could have told her I worked at McDonald's or Burger King, and my night would have been 100 times better. So after I told her what I did for a living and she told me, she immediately jumps on her phone and starts texting somebody. And I thought that was kind of strange because she wasn't on her phone the whole night we were talking. So I kind of just ignored it. I was like, whatever. And then I went on my phone because, I didn't want to just sit there awkwardly. So like 5 minutes later, she stops texting whoever she's texting, and she keeps asking me questions about my YouTube. She's like, how many subscribers do you have? And I tell her. And then she's like, how much do you usually make? Like a month or like a year? Now that question's obviously very personal. It's pretty rude to ask somebody how much they make in a year. And I don't know if she like knew that, but I just told her, I was like, oh, it's like between this and this amount. I don't want to tell her the exact amount, but I told her like what it was between. And I shouldn't have done that either because I really put myself in a fat fucking corner. So anyway, after a while, we move on from talking about my YouTube channel finally, and we start talking about other things, just getting to know each other. And I was having a really cool conversation with this girl, right? I thought that it was actually going really well. And then it got to be pretty late, and we're just laying in her bed talking, and my dumbass ends up falling asleep. I end up just knocking out on her bed, completely just not expecting to do that, just fell asleep. And when I woke up an hour later, I was not in a good position. An hour later, I woke up, I shit you not, handcuffed to her bed frame. Like one arm handcuffed to her bed frame, and I can't move it. Now I already know what you're probably immediately thinking. Like, damn, Austin, like your day was into some really like crazy shit. That's what I thought too. Like I really just thought I was waking up to some like freaky situation, right? But nah, I wake up and she's looking at me with this like real devious smile. And I ask her like, why did you handcuff me in my sleep to your bed? And she just goes, I'm sorry, Austin. And I was like, what are you talking about? And at this point, I start getting scared. You wake up and you're handcuffed to something and you can't move, and the girl tells you she's sorry. Like, I'm kind of nervous, right? So I ask her, I'm like, can you please undo these? And she's like, no, like, I'm sorry. Like, you'll be able to leave soon. I was like, what do you mean leave soon? And she's like, look, you're a nice guy. I actually really do like you, but it's not your fault for what's about to happen. And at this point, I'm tweaking the fuck out. I'm like, what is about to happen? I'm about to die? Like, what is going on? So I ask her, I'm like, are you about to hurt me? And she's like, no, no, no. But like, I just need you to stay there and like be calm for a second. I was like, I can't stay calm when I don't know what the fuck's going on and I'm handcuffed to something. Can you please just undo these? And she's like, listen, my boyfriend's about to be here. He's going to take your money and then you can leave. I was like, wait a minute. You're robbing me? You have a boyfriend and you're robbing me. And she's like, yeah. I was like, are you serious? Like, here I am waking up, handcuffed to somebody's bed, thinking it's just some, like, fucking crazy erotic shit, right? But no, I'm getting robbed. And she has a boyfriend that's doing it. So I ask her, I'm like, why are you robbing me? She's like, listen, as soon as I found out who you were and what you did, I told my boyfriend, and he knew who you were, and he knew how much you made already, and he told me to wait here. I was like, look, I'll give you whatever money you want. Just don't hurt me. She's like, I didn't plan on it, and neither does he. As long as you cooperate, you can leave right after. I was like, okay, thanks, I guess. So I guess that was one good thing. The people that were fucking robbing me while I was handcuffed to a bed were pretty nice. You know, they weren't about violence. They were only about, you know, keeping me there against my will until they had their money. So yeah, 15 minutes later, this dude pulls up, and he's like, what's up, Austin? Nice to meet you. I was like, yeah, man, it's a pleasure. Really love meeting you under these circumstances. He's like, yeah, so where's your wallet at? I was like, it's in my pocket, and it has like $50 in it. Hope this was worth $50. He's like, $50 ain't gonna cut it, dude. I was like, well, I don't got any cash on me. He's like, all right, well, I need money like now, so what do you got? I was like, fuck, dude. He's like, you got PayPal? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, do me a favor. Send me $1,200 to this email. I was like, okay, I need both my hands to type in my password. Can I have my hand? And he walks over with his girlfriend's key, and he fucking unlocks these stupid handcuffs I was on the bed with. And I take my hand, and I grab my phone, and I fucking type in my password and send this kid money. I basically just get full-blown robbed. And right after I do it, this dude shakes my hand, stands me up, and goes, all right, man, you can leave. Just lets me go. And on the inside, I'm still freaking out and terrified. But on the other hand, I'm actually, like, just want to laugh my ass off because I feel like I'm in a fucking comedy skit right now. Like, what? This is some shit you would see on a TV show. So I walk out of the house, and as I'm walking away, I hear him go, yo. And I turn around, I'm like, what? He goes, you ain't gonna tell anyone about this, are you? I was like, no, don't plan on it. And he's like, don't tell no stories about this on your YouTube channel. I know where you live. I was like, okay, dude. And I just walk away. Now, at this time, I was technically living in LA. I was visiting my hometown for a while, so he didn't know where I lived. I lived across the country, so I wasn't worried about him actually knowing where I lived. And you probably think that's where it ends, right? Oh, no, it gets a whole lot better. So the next day, I book a flight back to LA, right? I go back to California. I land, and I get on my computer at my house there. And I log onto my computer, and I go on PayPal, and I sent the money to them as a business payment, not friends and family. It was like a service payment. So I went on my PayPal and just charged it back, which means I got a full refund, and I got all my money back that they stole from me. Well, minus the $50 out of my wallet. But yeah, I got my other fucking $1,150 back, and pretty much just completely scammed them right back. And right after I did it, I get a message on Tinder from that girl, and she goes, hey, we know what you did, and we're coming for you. And I reply and I go, I live in LA, and I hate to break it to you, but you're so broke you're robbing people, which means you can't afford a plane ticket out there. Good luck. And I block her. Now, I don't know what gave me the balls to say that, because that's not a good idea when you're talking to a criminal. But, yeah, I did that. And I blocked her. And I never heard from her again. I went back to my hometown many times. I was out in LA in the same spot for a year, and they never came looking for me. So I don't think they really knew where I lived. But, guys, if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, ever, even though I hope you don't, call the police. Do not fight fire with fire like I did, because I can't lie, I could have ended up dead in this story time. Anyway, guys, I thought this was a crazy one, and when I look back on it, I laughed my ass off because of how ridiculous it was. But real shit, it was terrifying, and I honestly thought when I woke up laying there, I was going to get hurt. So, yeah, guys, moral of this story is just be careful with these online dating apps and shit like that. Like, don't meet up with anyone that you're sketched out by. And if you're going to use those apps, make sure you're 18. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this crazy-ass story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see y'all later. Peace.